In the 2000s, Usher was one of the biggest R&B artists in the world. His catalog of straight hit songs like You Remind Me, You Got It Bad, and You Don't Have to Call made Usher a household name. Usher was all over the 2000s, and people couldn't get enough of him, and his song Confessions certified them as the top-selling R&B artist of the early 2000s. His stardom would be recognized 20 years later when he performed at the 2024 Super Bowl halftime show. This performance forever solidified his musical legacy as one of the biggest stars in the industry. But one thing that is not helping Usher's legacy is what has been unfolding with one of the men that helped make him a star in the first place, P. Diddy. By now, all of you have heard the rumors of Usher and Diddy having an inappropriate relationship, claims that for years have remained just that, rumors. But what was recently released in a new court-filed document might suggest that the rumors aren't rumors at all, but the truth. This lawsuit has left people with the question, was Usher one of Diddy's first victims in the music industry? Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, I'm joined by Taco.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
We're gonna be talking about Usher and what he possibly had to do to make it in the industry. Let's get right into it. Usher has been singing for most of his life. His mother would sign him up for the church choir when he was only 9 years old, and this is when his parents discovered how good he can sing. Usher would end up joining a local singing group, which encouraged his mother to take his music career more seriously. His mother would decide to make the move from Texas to Atlanta in hopes of helping her son's career. While in Atlanta, she would take Usher from talent show to talent show, hoping to get him discovered by an industry A&R. This is exactly what happened when he was introduced to AJ Alexander at a local talent show in Atlanta. Alexander started hosting pop-up concerts for Usher all over Atlanta in parking lots and local parties. Eventually, Alexander would get Usher to perform at Star Search, which was a televised talent show. AJ took this opportunity to invite an A&R from LaFace Records to watch Usher perform. The A&R saw potential in Usher's talent, so he decided he would introduce Usher to L.A. Reid, who was the founder of the label. Reid, also impressed by Usher, decided to sign him on the spot. While Usher thought he had made it wasn't the case, as not long after he was signed, before his debut album was even completed, he was shelved by the label, who were starting to question Usher's star potential. To make things worse, Usher was starting to go through puberty, and his voice was changing. He was having difficulty adjusting to his new voice, and the label was concerned about his performance. The label had given up on young Usher and were convinced it would be best to drop him. Usher would beg the label to keep him and give him a chance. L.A. Reid would agree, but told Usher only if he would agree to live and attend what he called Flavor Camp with Puff Daddy. Usher and his mother said yes, not knowing this would change his life forever. Not long after living with Puff Daddy and surviving his Flavor Camp, Usher was a massive star on top of the music industry. He became the face of 2000's R&B scene and made millions, and it's all because of Diddy and Flavor Camp. Now, 30 years later, people have been left with the question, what exactly went down during Flavor Camp? Over the years, Diddy has gained a reputation as a possible bi man who allegedly tends to manipulate men in the music industry into doing compromising things for opportunities. Recently, one man has come out alleging he was a victim of Diddy's manipulation from 2022 to 2023. He has decided to sue Diddy for allegedly essaying him and many other things he claims Diddy did. I recently covered this entire lawsuit in this video and went through every detail the producer Lil Rod revealed about Diddy. What's interesting is that something in that lawsuit seems to reveal exactly what Usher was doing with Diddy during Flavor Camp. It also explains how Usher went from an artist who was going to be dropped from his label to becoming the face of R&B in the 2000s. In one part of Lil Rod's lawsuit, he alleges that Diddy told him he hooked up with two artists, one that because of the description in the lawsuit appears to be Meek Mill, and the other Usher. Lil Rod claims that Diddy confessed to him directly that he had hooked up with these artists, claiming that if Lil Rod wanted to win a Grammy and make it big, he would have to do the same. Now, this left me with the question, when was Diddy referring to hooking up with Usher? Could it have been possibly when he lived with Diddy when he was only about 14 years old? Now, this old video of Diddy talking about when he lived with Usher seems to paint a complete different picture. In this video, Diddy is seen telling the camera that he remembers back when he used to wake up with Usher and wrestle over the Frosted Flakes.
I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close at all. Usher look like he fresh off goddamn I should.
Fresh right stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. Then before pause was invented, you know what I'm saying? It's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the What did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen.
This video is now being looked at under a new lens, and people were left asking, what did he meant by waking up and wrestling over the Frosted Flakes? Was this what L.A. Reid meant by sending Usher to Flavor Camp? Was he referring to sending him to Diddy to break him in? Usher actually vaguely speaks about his experiences at Diddy's Flavor Camp during an interview on the Howard Stern show. He admits that some rather curious things were taking place at Diddy's house, which I still wonder what he means by that.
To New York City. I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? Sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp to learn some...
Flavor Camp?
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
in the 90s. You understand what that's like?
Puffy place was like just filled with chicks nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there. This lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't call.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said that. What I did say is there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand. He married J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this. I was having a good time. I mean,
does he have you doing any chores? Are you at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat, or can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
What a life!
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
As you heard for yourself, when asked about Diddy's Flavor Camp, Usher starts talking vaguely, and when he's questioned about if there were women around, he said not necessarily. He then goes on to tell Howard that he witnessed some curious things and learned about the industry's lifestyle. What do you think he was referring to by learning some curious things? He basically admitted there was no women, but he saw some curious things and that Diddy showed them the lifestyle of the industry. Howard asked Usher if he would let his son at 14 attend Diddy's Flavor Camp, and Usher immediately responded no. He didn't even take a moment to think about it. It was an instant reaction. So think about it. If Flavor Camp made Usher the star he is today, why wouldn't he want to send his son to the same camp to make him a star? Something definitely happened to Usher at Diddy's Flavor Camp, and that is obvious. In another interview with Shannon Sharpe, Usher once again talks about his experiences with Diddy and his Flavor Camp, claiming that if it weren't for Flavor Camp, his career wouldn't be where it is today.
You mentioned L.A. Reid sent you to New York and you live with P. Diddy. They call it Flavor Camp.
Flavor Camp, yeah.
So what was that experience like, and how did that help Usher's career?
I don't think I would be the artist that I am today without the experiences that I had in New York City.
As you heard for yourself, Usher admits he wouldn't be the artist he is today without having the experiences he had while with Diddy. Usher was sent to Diddy so that he may be initiated into what the music industry truly is. Now, what I found interesting was while Meek Mill has responded to the allegations that seem to be made about him and Diddy, one person who hasn't is Usher. To many, this appears as Usher trying to avoid the allegations because they possibly could be true. And if we listen to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, it seems to be the case. Recently, Gene did an interview with The Art of Dialogue where he made some interesting remarks. According to Gene, what Little Rod stated in that lawsuit seems to be the truth from his personal experiences with Diddy. More importantly, he goes on to claim that Diddy did allegedly have a relationship with Usher, even claiming that Diddy put Usher in the hospital.
Looking at this lawsuit, right? Little Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he has with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher name redacted, you could tell who it is because they describe him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, I mean, we all know who that is, right? How you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
As you heard for yourself, Gene claims that Diddy and Usher did have a situation, referring to what Little Rod revealed Diddy told them in the lawsuit. He claims Diddy sent Usher to the hospital, and then Gene told the world to ask Usher and his mother to clarify what he meant by that. To me, it seems that Gene just confirmed exactly what Usher had to do to become a star. Just like the lawsuit claims, Diddy allegedly told Little Rod he can make him a Grammy-nominated producer. All he had to do was allegedly hook up with him. This is possibly the same thing he told a young Usher. And Usher wanted to be a star so bad he did whatever Diddy told him to do, selling out in the process. Just like Diddy tried to put Little Rod through a demasculating initiation ritual, it seems like he allegedly managed to do it to Usher and possibly many more artists. Usher chose to sell out. That's how he became the massive star he is today. Once he took that oath, the whole industry got behind him and took him to the top. I don't only blame Usher for selling out, as he was only a kid. His mother is primarily responsible for selling out her son. She was okay with what Usher was doing at Diddy's house. Usher was only 10 years old when her mother fed him to the wolves. Their desire for fame and money led them to a path of compromise for opportunities, and sadly, she was okay with that. This is what the music industry truly is: men like Diddy who are gatekeepers, forcing stars to compromise themselves for opportunities. And the sad thing is, people are so desperate for money, they're willing to do anything to make it. Taco, when you saw this interview after hearing about the lawsuit, what did you think?
I immediately thought, poor Usher. And then it also reminded me of Lil Wayne and Birdman, that whole situation. Just like Usher, Lil Wayne was taken in the music industry as a child. Many people believe that, like Diddy did to Usher, Birdman did to Lil Wayne. I remember back then I used to see pictures of Lil Wayne and Birdman. That one where they kiss on the lips, I was like, yo, what is going on? And then even like songs like Stuntin' Like My Daddy, where Wayne was calling Birdman his daddy, even though he's not really his father. I mean, there was even an interview of Wayne where he's talking about his first experience with the woman being orchestrated by Birdman, and while Birdman was in the actual room watching it all go down, coaching him. But mind you, Lil Wayne was still a teenager at that time, so that's a little strange behavior if you ask me. And then when we look at Usher, he seems to have gone through something very similar. It appears like it's a normal thing in the music industry to kind of groom these younger celebrities.
Exactly, you're right. This is what the music industry does. We've already seen so many examples of these young artists or young celebrities, actors as well, being groomed in the music industry in Hollywood, grooming them to be someone who accepts what goes on in the industry and doesn't speak out. This is what they did to Usher. They got Usher young. They told Usher, hey, you want to be a star? Well, you got to go hang out with Diddy at Flavor Camp and you got to let him break you in. And that's exactly what Diddy did. Diddy showed them the inner workings of the music industry, what the music industry is really about, what really goes on behind the scenes. And he showed them how to operate. He showed Usher, this is what you have to do. You have to compromise yourself and maybe give it up to an executive or two to get in the position you want. And right now, with all the lawsuits that are being made against Diddy, this is only becoming more and more obvious. There's still people defending Diddy. The people in the industry that don't want to talk about this because they believe Diddy's going to make a comeback and they don't want to get on his bad side. And then his fans that they look at Diddy as this sort of god and they don't want this image of Diddy to be destroyed. But just look at all the lawsuits. Where there's smoke, there's a fire. And we're seeing a whole lot of smoke. Enough smoke to make people choke. And it's just ridiculous how so many people are denying what's right in front of us. People claim that these people are only doing it for money. But that doesn't neglect the fact that what they're accusing Diddy of doing is pure evil. Even if they want money or not, it shouldn't change the information that's being revealed about the man that's on top of the music industry. The music industry shouldn't operate like this. You shouldn't have to sleep with Diddy to make it in the music industry. You shouldn't have to compromise yourself to make it in the music industry. You should be able to make good music to make it in the music industry, but that's not how it works. These sick, evil men have set up their thrones at the gate of the music industry. And if you want to make it inside, you got to go through them. And that's what's going on with these young artists. And sadly, these young artists are exactly what these sick people are into.
I like that analogy that you used about where there's smoke, there's definitely fire. We know how these industry people work. They like to hide in plain sight. And what's more plain than a fire blazing? Because this whole thing is crazy. All these allegations, all these lawsuits that are coming out. But you know what's even crazier? Like, I've seen videos of Justin Bieber circulating online of when he used to live with Diddy. And it looks like Justin was sent there too. Justin lived with Diddy for a few days. And from the video I saw of them, it does seem that Justin could have been getting the same treatment as Usher.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay.
Where would you like to go?
I mean, Wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Buck full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
It's interesting though because Usher's the one who helped sign Justin Bieber, if you remember. It also appears that he sent him there to get initiated by Diddy, just like he was initiated many years before. There's also a lot of pictures online circulating of Diddy and Bieber partying it up, and we all know how Diddy likes to party. The fact that Justin has become an addict and seems rather sad most of the time, it would appear that he could have been put through the same initiation that Usher went through.
Something else that Lil Rod revealed in the lawsuit was that allegedly Diddy told him the truth about the incident that happened at the club with Shine and J-Lo. According to Lil Rod, he claims Diddy told him it wasn't Shine that pulled out his piece and unloaded into a crowded NYC club. It was himself. It has been long believed that back when this happened, Diddy convinced his artist at the time, Shine, to take the fall for his crime. Shine agreed and went to prison while Diddy remained free and became one of the biggest men in the music industry. According to this lawsuit, that crime was done by Diddy, and he never faced any consequences for it. What's interesting, the woman who was actually injured at the club because of the incident has come out recently and made claims that it was Diddy that did it all. She even claims she saw Diddy doing it with her own eyes.
Hey, how you doing? So, here today about this latest lawsuit with the P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, whatever you want to call him, lawsuit that has come out involving the producer Lil Rod. So basically his last two lawsuits, or last two major lawsuits, the one with Cassie, she made mention that Puffy made her carry his guns into nightclubs and wherever they went. And he threatened her to make her feel like she had to do so. And while there were lots of things of importance, that stood out to me. And I'm going to tell you why. In this lawsuit with the producer Lil Rod, they were both SA'd by him. But in this lawsuit, he appears to be a very young producer to me. But he said something very specific. As a means of threatening him, Puffy said, that's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it. Let me tell you why that's of utmost importance to me. Because I am the woman who shot in the face in that 1999, December 27th, 1999, Club New York. I have told everyone ad nauseum since then, even the surgeon who did the surgery, I literally have told everyone and never changed what I said. I watched him. I got pow-powed in the face. I watched him fire the gun. I've said all this time. Even the surgeon who did my surgery to take out part of the bullet fragments that was aspirating into my lungs and try to remove as many bullet fragments as possible, testified in the criminal trial that while they were putting me under, I was screaming, Puffy, pew pew me in the face. He testified in the criminal trial. It is in the record. They all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it. But he paid off the club bouncer named Sharice and all these other people and the club owners with their video to hide the video. That's his MO. I told everybody that.
As you heard for yourself, Nathania claims she witnessed Diddy doing it herself and that she told this to the authorities multiple times. She alleges that Diddy used his money and power to make it all go away by paying off the club and the police. This just further shows what kind of monster Diddy truly is. This is why he's at the top, because he's essentially Satan himself in the industry. He is making these artists sell out just like he tried to do to Lil Rod, and how it appears he did to Usher. It is time Diddy pays for what he has done to so many souls. Well, that's it for this video. But before you guys go, I just wanted to ask you to please like, comment, and share this video so that it would be recommended to others. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks everyone. Take care.